Welcome to Baytown Hyundai, your East Houston source for all your Hyundai needs. Today we'll be showing you yet another one of Hyundai's exquisite new models. For more information about any of our inventory, you can visit us on location or visit us at BaytownHyundaiofHouston.com. Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Today's review has now brought us here for a much more up-close and personal encounter with the newly refinished and refined 2015 Hyundai Tucson SE. And now, with all of that being said, this is going to be a complete and in-depth review of the Tucson, and this does entail a complete startup and overview of the engine, as well as a good look at many of the unique and notable styling cues and multiple features, technologies, and creature comforts that now make up this newly refinished version of Hyundai's popular small crossover. And so, bearing all that new information in mind, let's go ahead and climb aboard and we'll check it out. To begin with, our mid-level, rather basically equipped SE tester today is wearing the diamond silver metallic exterior, and beautifully contrasting the brightness and shine of this diamond silver exterior, our particular vehicle's interior has been fully upholstered in a combination black leather and cloth upholstered interior. Beautiful smooth sound from that 2.4 liter gas direct injected 4-cylinder engine. Now, like all of the other modernizations that Hyundai has performed on most of their lineup, the 2015 Tucson now comes equipped with a standard electrically assisted rack and pinion power steering setup, providing effortless feedback but still enough resistance in the wheel overall. In our SE tester, it's sporting a full leather-trimmed 4-spoke multi-function steering wheel with a nice crisp, soft, supple feel to the leather, soft bolstering extensions at about 10 and 2 o'clock with small ridged grips at the back. Dark painted silver accents running across both sides of the wheel with a soft grade airbag cover front and center. Now for 2015, the Tucson is now available as 3 selectable trims: GLS, SE, and finally the Limited, both paired with 2 available engines depending on trim choice. However, all models are available with only 1 selectable transmission, Hyundai's standard 6-speed electronically controlled Shift-tronic automatic transmission with available manual shifting capabilities just off to the left-hand side of the drive portion of the shifter. And in this case, it's finished with a beautiful leather-wrapped shift knob, a nice accent of black piano veneer up top with nice accents of brushed silver found throughout, all trailing off into a stitched leather shift boot. And as you can hear, the vehicle does come standard with electronic child protective safety locks, which will automatically lock the vehicle once the car is put into gear and will only unlock the Tucson once the car is put back into park. Also standard on Tucson SE for the 2015 model year is this now standard 4.3-inch multifunction touchscreen display that also includes a standard reverse backup camera. Now, only the driver's side window is automatic in both directions. For the 2014 and 2015 model year of the Tucson, Hyundai has now provided two available power plants depending on which trim level is selected. The most basic trim level, the GLS, comes with a standard 2-liter dual overhead cam, 16-valve, gasoline direct fuel-injected inline 4-cylinder engine producing 164 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. However, for SE and limited trim levels, a much more upscale, much more proven power plant is now in our favor. Raising the hood of our particular tester today, we find Hyundai's corporate 2.4-liter dual overhead cam, 16-valve, gasoline direct fuel-injected inline 4-cylinder engine, again with Hyundai's signature dual continuous variable valve timing. This unit pushes out 182 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. Running on recommended regular unleaded gasoline, expect to see an EPA miles per gallon estimate of 21 miles per gallon in the city and 28 miles per gallon on the interstate highway. This miles per gallon rating will drop depending on vehicle condition and also whether or not the vehicle is equipped with the electronic all-wheel drive system. For all-wheel drive models, expect to see a rating of about 20 in the city and 25 on the highway. And now let's see about a few revs of that 2.4-liter four-banger and see what kind of soundtrack she produces. A bit of a raspy, but definitely a very responsive 4-cylinder engine. And with all that in mind, let's go ahead and turn on the headlights. You do have the option of them being automatic when upgrading to SE trims, as well as turn on the standard fog lights and the hazard lights as usual. And now let's take this brief opportunity to take a quick walk around to the exterior of the Tucson. Now for the 2014 and now 2015 model year of the Tucson line, not really much has changed in terms of overall styling cues taken from the 2013 and previous generations. However, buyers may notice a few subtle changes made to the front end of the vehicle. Starting off here, we have these beautiful black, chrome, and white illuminating accents running here along these standard halogen projector headlights. As you can see, this SE trim now carries standard fog lights. More basic models such as the GLS and this SE come with a body color matched front grille. On limited trims, you'll notice slight chrome accents running around the exterior lip of the front grille. Now in the case of our particular SE tester today, it's riding on the standard set of dark gray painted 17-inch aluminum alloy wheels, wrapped in Kumo summer tires. You've got intermittently timed rain-sensing wipers, monochromatic powered exterior mirrors, bright silver finished aluminum roof rails, coming around to the back of the Tucson, again, really not much has changed in the vehicle's overall design. Here on this SE trim level, we have standard halogen taillights. If the vehicle is upgraded to the limited trim level, a full rake of LED taillights becomes available. Also, as you saw earlier, your standard reverse camera located near the trunk latch. We got standard rear heating defrosting glass with integrated rear windscreen wiper, body color matched rear spoiler with third LED brake light along with it. Overall, another beautiful design from the many vehicles in Hyundai's book of game-changing lineups. All the bags of image wrapped up into a small, compact vehicle. But now that we've had a good look at the exterior of the 2015 Tucson, let's go ahead and take a better look at what makes up the interior. As stated on our particular SE tester today, we have a full black leatherette and cloth upholstered interior. Full leather seats are available on the Tucson, but only in the standard limited trim. Unless, of course, aftermarketly equipped. And even on a mid-level trim level vehicle such as this vehicle does come with plentiful amounts of powered amenities, including an automatic one-touch driver's side window, along with the rest of your power windows, power door locks, window locks, and also power assisted mirrors. Over here to the left of your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, you have your traction control, hill descent control, and also hill start assist, along with instrument dimming. Also, the driver's seat is fully power adjustable. Now, just like we saw on the exterior of this 2015 Tucson, once you step inside the interior of the vehicle, the design language shows a few styling cues that have changed here and there, but overall the design language really remains that much of the same. Ever since this car's design came out in 2010, Hyundai has definitely been making large strides to really further improve the design language of the overall vehicle. Now, as far as aesthetics go, the dashboard here in front of you is comprised of a very large grain, rather hard touch plastic-like material. You've got a much softer grain here for your airbag cover and also here for the glove box, but overall the materials are of a very hard touch, but again, a very large grain feel. A much more smoothed out binnacle with sort of a rubberized-like texture to it, covering your center stack and also your 4.3-inch touchscreen display, and also a very large bolstering binnacle up here at the very top of your gauge cluster. Wrapping around here across the doors is more of the large grain hard touch material with leather padded door panels and a much harder leather feel right here on your armrest. Again, more of the rubberized sort of coating right here on your switches for all of your windows and locks and so on. Down here in the door, you have standard cup holders in all 4 doors, including for the rear passengers. And also, the standard parking brake is located down on the floor rather than a handle like in most compact SUVs. Now, as far as the center stack goes, everything is legible and very easily laid out. For a start, this 4.3-inch display is standard on the SE trim. If in a much more basic trim level, i.e. the GLS, this screen will then become an option, however it is not standard equipment. And also, kind of obviously, if you step up to the limited trim level of this vehicle, you have the availability of a 7-inch high-definition touchscreen display with onboard navigation. Now, as stated previously, this vehicle does have 3 different types of radios. You have AM and FM, and also XM Sirius satellite radio.
Every stitch and every line, making it stronger. 538.
Let's see what we can find here. A very beautiful sound to this more basic radio system. But also here in the center, you have your media button, i.e. your iPod auxiliary and USB inputs, hands-free phone, which is also used via the Bluetooth connectivity buttons here on the steering wheel, your clock setup, via radio scanning, and also sound setup and so on. Also up here by your single stack CD player, you have this little button labeled DISP, which is actually the availability to turn off the display here in the center. Down below, the left-hand knob is for volume and also the radio's power, your seek track buttons, and also categories and folders. And you also have your tune button over here on the right-hand side. Now moving down, you have a button labeled Active Eco. Now this is a feature we've touched on several different times before. However, for those new to the Tucson, let's reiterate. This button here, basically in plain English, it changes your transmission timings and also your throttle settings via the vehicle's onboard engine management system to basically allow the vehicle to drive at its most fuel efficient all the time. Now if you turn the button on, you can see a small little eco indicator appears up here just underneath of your speedometer. That basically means that when that light is active, the vehicle will be driving at its most fuel efficient. If you're driving around in the city per se, up to about 30 miles an hour or so, like on most city streets, the active eco mode will then be adjusting the vehicle's engine and throttle timings and also your transmission to allow the vehicle to be driving at its most fuel efficient. That's how you're going to achieve such high numbers in the city. Also, on the highway, nudging up towards 28 to 30 miles to the gallon, you're cruising about 65 to 70 miles an hour for the Active Eco's maximum speed before it turns off. Now, as far as what's directly in front of you, you have all of your different buttons for all different electronic creature comforts located throughout the vehicle. All of your cruise control buttons on the upper right-hand spoke, your trip meter, which is your blue LCD screen up there, so you just push it. You can go average miles per gallon, average miles per hour, time spent driving the vehicle, overall trip, and vehicle's current range. Over here on the bottom left, as you saw before, your hands-free Bluetooth buttons, and also the vehicle's voice command for the onboard radio system, and also hands-free radio controls, including volume control. Up here at the top, you have your standard map reading lights, sunglasses holder, and also illuminated vanity mirrors. Going back down the center console here, we have one of the most important things for people who live in hotter climates, such as us here in the Houston Metroplex, and that is your single zone climate control system. Now, this can be upgraded to a dual zone automated climate control system if equipped with the correct packages, but also it is a standard single zone on the SE, but a standard dual zone on Limited. However, for this one, it's very easy to understand. You have your fan speed over here on the far left. Push the button to turn on maximum AC, front and rear defroster, all of your different climate zones across the bottom, maximum air conditioning, and also air conditioning recycling located just inside of your temperature knob. Also, the rear defroster is its own separate entity, normally focused where the push button ignition would be with vehicles equipped with a proximity key. Moving down, you have 2-stage heated seats, being that these seats are comprised not only of cloth, but also of the leatherette material. Down here in the center, you have your standard iPod USB and auxiliary input with two 12-volt 120-watt outlets located either side. Now moving down here in the center console, you have more of this dark metallic gray painted finish surrounding the cup holders and moving around to the shifter. Also, as your shifter was seen before, it has the leather trimmed shift boot and leather trimmed shift knob with piano black veneer and all of your white illuminated numerics. Also, brushed painted silver trim running around the exterior rim of the shifter gate itself. You've got a leather bound center console with removable storage tray, all beautifully stitched with a nice soft feel. Overall, the 2015 Tucson still retains a lot of its design language from previous years. However, Hyundai has definitely improved on some of the interior and exterior styling cues to further improve the look and design of the overall vehicle. Still providing an excellent design overall. But with all that in mind, let's go ahead and turn off the engine. And one funny thing about this key fob, kind of as like a safety feature, is let's say, for example, the vehicle's power is on. Let's say you started it and want to turn the engine off. You can't just simply turn the key fob and then pull it out. That would actually be a little bit harsher on the ignition. Instead, you have to push in and finally turn to release. Another little safety feature of the Tucson. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and take an exploration of the rest of the Tucson. Now, of course, being the smallest of the crossover and SUV lineup in Hyundai's days, it only has room for 5 people. That being said, however, once you step in the back seat, it's typical of what you'd expect of a small SUV. Be it the fact that I'm a little bit taller, I'm about 6'1", the seat is a little bit further back than where you would normally expect it. But thanks to these indentions in the back of the seat, I still have probably about 2 inches or so of knee room between my knees and the back of the driver's seat. However, if your driver is of a shorter status, you will have a considerable amount more legroom back here. The seats themselves are nice and firm, but they do give quite nicely. The cloth definitely adds its own unique plushness to the center part of the seat. You've got a leather-bound center console with dual cup holders. And also these seats are 60-40 split fold thanks to the triggers just in the upper portions of each seat. Now, even though this vehicle is equipped with a fair few options, it does not come with a power-assisted liftgate even on the most loaded trim levels. All of your standard storage underneath, including your spare tire and applicable jack. And as stated previously, the seats are 60-40 split fold, so you just lift up on the trigger and just push the seat forward. Now the seats do fold flat into the back of the vehicle, so you pretty much double your cargo capacity once the seats are folded all the way down. As you can see, once the seats do fold all the way down, again, plentiful amounts of storage room, fitting anything from probably as big as a lazy boy chair back here, to be honest. You could definitely fit something large in the back of this. Now, one big thing that definitely stands out, maybe to a lot of buyers, is vehicle quality. Hyundais of the past, and let's be honest here, they definitely were not of the best quality. But once you shut the door on this 2015 Tucson, just listen. A nice, soft, authoritative thunk. Now, as is the case with most crossover vehicle buyers, they're usually carrying a very precious package, i.e. children, so therefore they'll be concerned about safety. Well, this vehicle carries a plentiful array of airbags, including dual-stage front impact airbags, side curtain, and side impact airbags, along with other electronic features such as pre-collision seatbelt tensioners, active head restraints, four-wheel disc brakes, ABS, and also electronic stability control. Now, for those riding in the passenger seat of the Tucson, it is definitely a wonderful place to be. Plentiful amounts of room to stretch out, and as I said, I'm about 6'1", and my feet are not even touching the end of where the footwell actually ends. If I pointed my toes, I probably could touch it, but nevertheless, it shows it does carry quite a lot of foot room in here. As far as the glove box, it is damped ever so slightly, but it doesn't, it's not lined with felt like you would expect on a much more upscale brand of vehicle, but nevertheless, it still carries all of the necessary storage capabilities you'd expect. In conclusion, the 2015 Tucson definitely provides a lot for the money. Yet another example of Hyundai's efforts to provide all of the options necessary for most buyers, but at the same time, not so hefty of a price tag. For a vehicle costing under $25,000 starting out, it definitely is somewhat of a bargain, especially considering the array of options you've just seen. So viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this rather in-depth look at the 2015 Hyundai Tucson SE. To find out more information about the Tucson and all of the available options and trims on this vehicle, visit HyundaiUSA.com, or, depending on where you live, visit your local Hyundai dealer. If you live here in the Houston Metroplex, stop by one of our locations at Humble Hyundai on Interstate 59 North, North Freeway Hyundai at their brand new location up in Spring, Texas, or visit Baytown Hyundai in Southeast Houston on Interstate 10. Until then, viewers, hope you had a great time, and I'll see you guys later.